Okay, boys and girls, I want you to take out this packet from your folder. It's a handwriting activity. It's also helping you to learn how to build sentences using sequencing. Okay, so we're working all on sequencing the last 2 weeks. So last week and this week, we are working all on beginning, middle, and end. But sometimes we don't have in the beginning, in the middle, and the end for words to use. So we're using different words. Today, we're working on a how-to. How-to for camping. So what I want you to do is I want you to focus on your handwriting. I want you to focus on your sentence rules. Capital, finger spaces, punctuation, and I want you to focus on your sequencing. Okay, 3 things to focus on as you write this. Okay, so I've got a picture of a tent. I have a picture of a fire. I have a picture of hot dogs on the fire. And that's it. Those are the only words I have to use in my writing that are already spelled out for me. Okay, so I have to use these words on the side. Set up, build, cook. When you go camping, you don't cook first. When you go camping, you don't build first. You don't build the fire. When you go camping, you set up the tent first. So the tent goes with setup. So when I go camping, if you've ever gone camping, the first thing you have to do when you arrive at the campground is you need to set up camp. So when you set up camp, you set up your tent. It's almost like where you're going to sleep at night. It's your home when you're on the campground. So first, I'm going to use the word first. I set up. See how it says set up right here? First, I set up our, O-U-R, tent. Period. First, I set up our tent. Capital letter, finger spaces, punctuation at the end. First, I set up our tent. Then, you're using first, then, and lastly. Then, I build a fire. Then, I build has an interesting 2 letters in it. It's a double vowel, it's a vowel team, U and I. So build sounds like B-I-L-D, but it's actually U-I-L-D. So you won't hear the U, you'll only hear the I. I build our, because it's not my fire, it's our fire. Fire. And the word fire is already there for me. I don't need to sound it out. It's a word that was provided for me. First, I set up our tent. Then, I build our fire. Lastly, we're working on our sequencing time words. Lastly, tell me what you do. Lastly, I cook our hot dogs. Lastly, we cook our hot dogs. Lastly, we cook our hot dogs on the fire. You can write your own sentence. But boys and girls, I want you to make sure of 3 things, just like we talked about in the beginning. You're focused on your handwriting. You're focused on your sentence rules, capital letter, finger spaces, punctuation, and you're focusing on your sequencing. So you need to use your time words at the beginning of your sentence. First, comma, then, comma, lastly, comma. We use the commas as pauses when we read it aloud. So first, comma, I set up our tent. You're using these words and you're using these words. Set up, build, cook, tent, fire, hot dog. Okay? And you can add anything you want to your sentences. First, I set up our green tent. Maybe your tent is green. First, I set up our big tent. Okay, you can use a describing word before tent to make it more interesting. I can't wait to see your writing today. You're only doing page 1. This is page 1. But I'm not